There we go. Glad everyone can make it here this morning. And what we're going to be discussing today is going to be something outside of the norm. So instead of focusing on the marketing funnels and everything today, what we wanted to do was share with you that there's a lot of different ways for you to create business, generate revenue, and build a brand without you having to create all these things. Now, there should be that passive marketing, the funnels, the advertising campaigns, all that kind of stuff should be going out there on a normal basis, a regular basis. That is true. But we also want to make sure that we have more of an understanding on how to create a business that's actually going to be scalable, that's going to grow. Now, if you ever go back into time, you will see, as a matter of fact, that there have been way more millionaires that have actually created a business that had to do with active campaigning, active conversation, active scouting, right? There was active energy in that. They weren't sitting back waiting for things to happen. And they weren't waiting for one funnel. So what we're trying to get across here, and I really want to make this point clear, is that there's been more millionaires who build businesses versus just try and create funnels. Okay. And so what I want to share with you today is some of the hardest work that you're going to have to do. And not hard because it's physical labor. It's going to make you sweat, strain, and leave you feeling like you just lifted up 1,000 pounds. Not at all. This is more difficult because it's going to push you outside of your comfort zone. It's going to push you to a position where you have got to make sure that if you're doing everything in business that's comfortable, you're not doing enough, right? If you're afraid to make videos and you're not doing videos, well, you're not doing enough. If you're afraid to pick up the phone and you're not willing to pick up the phone to make that extra connection, then you're not doing enough. Now, I'm saying this from a place of love. I'm saying this because I want you guys to see that we need to take account of what our daily actions are and what we're doing every day to make them better. And if you do that, and following what I'm going to share with you today, we will be, and you will be in a good spot to make some big moves for the next quarter. So let me start sharing my screen real quick and bring up everything that I had planned to discuss with you today. So this is the story I want to share with you today, because hopefully this is an eye opener. And I'm going to give you some strategies after this on how you can start to execute on this plan. Now, the story of Snapple, and it's not the story of Snapple as a whole, it's a story of Snapple's mango production line. How would they be able to get millions? We're talking hundreds of millions of sales off of a 99-cent to $1.19 product. Millions of additional sales and revenue without one marketing campaign. Without one single marketing campaign, no direct sales. There was no funnels. There was no direct mail. No phone calls. There was no campaigning. Nothing. No door knocking with coupons. Right? Nothing like that. So how did they do that? Well, they did something that is very important. You understand where your market is. You understand who has your market. There's going to be someone out there that has a percentage of your market captive. Now, what we want to do is we don't want to compete with those people who have your market captive. What we want to do is add something that's missing to what they're offering. So imagine how awesome it is to be in this day and age where we have so many opportunities and so many resources. Well, back then, pre-internet boom, there was only a few ways you can go about this. Well, the creative approach that these people took was amazing. What they did is they saw the relationship with the farmer. Think about this. The farmer who is selling mangoes. So mango farmers across the world, they already have mango fans. Go figure. They already have mango people who they're selling millions of mangoes themselves throughout the world. So if they already have the audience captive, if they're already having people who love mangoes come to them, why not go to that person instead of selling to all those individuals? Right? I hope this is really making a mind-blown moment for you, because these guys didn't go to the consumer side and go, okay, I got to get 1 million consumers, and then they've got to tell their friends, and then and this is going to blow like wildfire. That was not the actual approach. The approach was, look, guys, let's figure this out. Who has our market? Who already has them cornered that's giving them something great that they trust, that they could just kind of just share our product with? Whoa, isn't that amazing? So they created a deal with these farmers to say, look, you know what? All I want in this deal is to place, if you notice, there's these little stickers on every piece of fruit that you buy. Dole, whatever the big names are, right? Those little stickers, it just had a Snapple logo. And then on that sticker, it said, now made in Snapple. That's it. A little sticker placed on every mango sold already by the farmers. All the mango farmers had to do to accept this deal was to place a sticker on each of the mangoes. That was it. You place a sticker on your mango, you're going to get a royalty. We're going to pay you out. It's going to be great. We don't have to worry about anything else as far as distribution or advertising or marketing. Everything is being taken care of. So what do you think that did for the sales of the Snapple mango product line? It went through the freaking roof. Now, the reason why is strictly because of the fact that they were able to innovate a new strategy, a new avenue of income without investing much money. They didn't invest any money. They didn't pay upfront anything. They said, look, we will pay you off of what the sales come in based on the regions that we are connected to. So if these mango sales are coming from your region within your mango farm, you're going to get paid for this every month. We're going to buy more mangoes, or we're going to offer more of a compensation and a plan to make sure that you're paid, we're paid, everyone's good, and we don't have to market this to a consumer base. We're marketing now on a wholesale base, quote unquote, and the wholesaler, now being the farmer, is taking it and using it as retail, if that makes sense, okay? So there's many different ways we could look at that, and it's very important to understand this. Now, the way that I took this, and I'll tell you that in a second, how I use this to our benefit with the Academy in just a second, but you'll notice that this is very important. So Snapple went to the farmers. Now, the farmers, they go to the consumers, right? That's what we were talking about. Basically, Snapple was wholesaling their inventory to farmers. Farmers were then selling it as retail to the customers that were doing business with them already. Well, look what happens now. We have this as a grid. I just created this to let you guys see that every single one of those circles off to the right is a customer. Well, the ones that are green still remain farmer customers, but the ones that are yellowish orange, those are the ones that converted, that are now buying mangoes and buying Snapple. So imagine they were able to, from what the stats are showing, roughly take between 40 and 50% of the people that were consumers of these mangoes buying directly from the farmers to now buy directly from Snapple at the grocery stores and at the shopping malls and all those places wherever Snapple was being sold. People saw the Snapple mango and already connected that to the mangoes they're buying from their store and their farmers market themselves. So they know that, oh, I can either get this thing that's saturated, full of sugars and full of artificial sweeteners, or I can get this great thing from Snapple where it's got my mangoes that I love to eat. So the taste is going to be familiar. I don't have to worry about trying something new, and I know I'm going to like it. That's how important this is. So to put this into perspective, before I go on to some new strategies on how to start to do this actively, we use this same thing. Okay, I first learned this story in 2016. 2016 is when I learned the story. And when I first heard the story, my mind was blown. I just was like, oh my gosh, I no longer want to sell to consumers. I no longer want to sell directly one-on-one. I need to find the person who has my market and then sell to him, because he already has those people that are coming to them. So what I started to think about was, what part of my market that I really know I can help, that I really love helping, really needs my help the most, that's not getting it, but has other people that are offering something similar, but it's just not doing the job. So what I figured out was, it was colleges, man. There's so many entrepreneurship programs and marketing programs and sales programs that are not really being taught by people who are actively doing those things. So these professors and these philosophers, or whatever they call them, they're not actively in business and they're not actively selling, but they're trying to teach theory on how to do it. So it's not a good match for these students. So what I did is I started to test this concept, and I started to run advertisements to college students to see, hey, look, you know what? Is this even going to be something worthwhile? We started to get new members inside of the Academy that were college students. So we were like, okay, good. This is something that they want. So then we went and we flipped it, because they were saying that a lot of the college students, you know, to have this kind of money, it's a little bit out of their budget. So what we decided to do is, now that we tested the concept, I can now take this to my, to the chancellors, to the deans, to the higher ups inside of the college community. And I could say, look, let's set a meeting. And this was a long process. So if you ever want to know how to get in front of these folks, let me know. I'll sit down with you. Come out on one of the calls and we'll go through this with you. But it's a lengthy process. But what I had to do is I had to cold call these colleges. Yes, cold call the colleges, set up a virtual demo meeting so that I could present my academy to them over the computer. So you got Chancellor A, you got deans I'm meeting with, all these folks that got their board of directors they got to take this information back to, and I'm meeting with them, and I'm doing something on a level that I've never done before. So when I talk about like doing stuff that scares the shit out of you, I'm not lying about this. Back in 2016, I had never presented in front of board of directors or in front of chancellors and deans who could really sign off on 5-figure checks and 6-figure checks and stay with the company annually. it's pretty incredible when you get that experience behind you, okay? Because you know what you can do after that. And so that's why I'm sharing with you to push through this. If you're scared if you're even thinking right now, well, damn, Brandon, that's really nerve-wracking. Calling on companies, calling on these places, and just pitching your product. Yeah, it's really incredible when you follow the VPC method because it's still value first. It's still always value first. And notice what happened with Snapple. They were able to collect, let's imagine these farmers have 1 million customers, which they have more than that. But let's imagine that it's 1 million customers and they're able to get, now Snapple is able to get 40% of those people to purchase Snapple when they see it in the store. That is a ridiculous amount. That is 400,000 new customers without 1 penny in advertising. You see what I mean? It's incredible when you break down the numbers and what you could do when you leverage other people's work. There's companies out there in your space that are selling things to your market that do not cannibalize what you're selling. Right? I had to go to the colleges and I had to persuade them to say, to see that the things that they're teaching their students are not actual real life experience, and it's not getting them what they need. It's most likely just hurting them. So why not get them into a program that could be chosen as an elective where they could actually sign off on credits and they could get the experience that they need? That's where my program came in. So we started partnering with these colleges. We literally went down the list of A to B to C to D, all the colleges from A to Z, right? We get to McMurray State out here in Texas because we started by states, and then we started in alphabetical order. And we what do you know? Within what was it? We started that in January of 2017, because I learned about it in late 2016. Started that approach in early 2017, and by June we were in negotiations. By September we had closed our first college. Right? So you're talking about 9 months. But imagine a 5-figure plus payout on an annual contract that's delivering results to college students that we don't have to sell to. Right? That's what we're talking about when you can get creative and you can push yourself to that next level. So if you're looking for some ways, right, some things that you could start to do right now